they'll take the 3 points.
No, they do not care. This is how things looking now. They extend their lead in the table ahead of the weekend's games. But let's get some reaction after the game. We did get to hear from the likes of Kane and Vincent Kompany.
What was your message to the players when the Augsburg goal went in? I could see you trying to get something across on the pitch.
No, just literally one half a positional detail for something that could help us, and then the main message is to stay calm. We know these moments they happen, and then we I said we didn't all of a sudden start doing anything silly. I think we upped the tempo a little bit at the right time as well, and that got us a goal, and then we had the confidence in the second half that we were able to put them under pressure.
The downer, Jamal's injury. You must be thinking, what's happening with this curse right now of Deo out, Alfonso out, and now Jamal looking very uncomfortable when he's walking through here?
I think we're trying not to, I mean, you call it a curse, I don't. We've put ourselves in a position now where we've got everything to play for, so the squad has done it, and you have to find solutions. You can't solve it the same way, that's the truth. But we've always had tremendous trust in the squad this season, and we will continue to do that. And like I said, not too much feeling sorry for ourselves, just making sure that we're ready to perform again next game.
You have some injury problems, and let's have a look at your ankle. What's going on there, Harry? That doesn't look too good, actually.
I got it caught under the defender on that tackle on the sending off, so it's just a little roll, but it'll be fine by Tuesday. The disappointing one's obviously Jamal. It looks like he's done something to his hamstring. We'll have to go away. He'll have to scan it and see how bad it is. Hopefully it's not terrible, but it didn't look good for him. So it's been a tough couple of weeks for us with injuries, some important players, but we spoke about needing the squad, and we need it more than ever now.
This is how things are looking in the table. Obviously, Bayern have played before everybody else this weekend, so it's a 9-point lead on Bayer Leverkusen right now. Leverkusen will be looking to put that back to 6 when they take on Heidenheim on Saturday. We had Frank Leboeuf watching the game for us as well, but let me start with you, Ale, because that news about Jamal Musiala ahead of a big week where they face Inter first and then Borussia Dortmund in Der Klassiker, not the news that we're hoping for.
We already knew that Bayern Munich had issues defensively, and we continue to see those issues even in today's match against Augsburg, in which they can get exposed in transition defensively, from set pieces defensively, everywhere defensively. But you could always say, but in the attacking half, we got Musiala and Sané, Kane and Olise and this guy and that guy, and now you take Jamal Musiala out of that equation. And as I mentioned, if it is a hamstring injury, which certainly seems that's the case, that's usually 3-4 weeks, which then means that he is not available for Champions League. So who's the next one that takes over that position and potentially can have a role with this team from the start? Well, today the answer was, at least today, it was Thomas Müller. To play that sort of number 10 withdrawn striker kind of role. And if it's not him, it would be Serge Gnabry who comes in on a wide area and Leroy Sané to play that sort of number 10 underneath role. Well, neither Thomas Müller nor Serge Gnabry coming off the bench today looked all that sharp or looked all that well. And so the concerning part is, and I think it's something that Vincent Kompany actually addressed there, I don't think that they're going to be able to address the absence of Jamal Musiala man for man. They're going to have to make some adjustments as to how they set up the team going forward, because neither Gnabry nor Thomas Müller can give you the same thing that Musiala gives you. I don't know if this is one too many injuries for Bayern Munich. I think the strength of the squad will be enough for them to win Bundesliga, but it concerns me that against lesser opposition like Augsburg or like St. Pauli over the weekend, they have struggled to keep other teams from scoring. I think we can all agree, regardless of what you may think of Bayern Munich, that Inter is a better team than Augsburg or St. Pauli or Bochum or Union Berlin, teams that Bayern Munich has struggled against over the last few weeks. I'm not saying this is a troubling trend for Bayern Munich going into Champions League against Inter.
Yeah, and to Ale's point, Frank, speaking defensively with this side, we even saw them concede a late chance in this game that could have been punished had they conceded that and it had gone as a goal. You do see the players that are out, Upamecano, Ito, Davies. What did you think of Bayern's defence today from what you saw, given the week and the opposition they've got ahead?
It's a big concern, and I totally agree with Ali. It's what I saw, and especially in the first goal, when the goal they conceded, with Lamer, but also Dyer covering the offside, and after not coming to cover Lamer, says to me that they have a lot of work to do. It's a set piece. It should be easy to cope with the situation. And Lamer is capable of starting late, not getting the ball with his head, and Dyer not covering. That's absolutely crazy in that level. And of course, Kompany cannot be happy as a former defender, because I'm pretty sure he would have been on the field. He would have been able to adjust everything. And against Inter, you're going to pay the price. It's another level of challenge that they're going to face. Inter might be now the favorite of the Champions League, as we have seen their past games and their past wins in the Champions League. So because of Musiala missing, but because of the weakness of the defense that they have, I'm very worried about Bayern Munich going through, because it's going to be very difficult if you're not more tuned in those special actions that we just saw and on the goal they conceded.
Now, Harry Kane had his iced ankle afterwards, and he said himself that he thinks he's going to be okay for the game against Inter coming up this week. I mean, they want to hope so, don't they?
Oh, I don't have an issue at all thinking that Harry Kane is going to play. That's just precautionary stuff. And in all honesty, I don't know how much contact there was in that challenge that he's talking about. Look, that was not a foul. And look, I was a striker and I tell you it wasn't a foul. I'll leave it to the defender, Frank Leboeuf, to tell you whether that was a foul.
I'm 100% with you. And we made a statement about English referees, Spanish referees. I think we can talk about the worldwide issues refereeing, because really what we saw today was amazing. He deserved a first yellow card on the first foul that he made. I think it was on Sané in the first half. But really, there is nothing. He pushed the ball, he got the ball, he barely touched Kane with his thigh. Therefore, there is not, again, as Ali said, even a foul. So not a yellow card, neither a yellow card or second yellow card, and of course a red card. That's not even an issue. We can see that, and we wonder what happens to Kane. He's on the floor. I don't know why he put some ice on his ankle. We don't even see the contact. That's very strange.
It did change the game, though, that moment.
Absolutely it did, because to Frank's point, while the defending part in terms of giving up the goal was really poor, Augsburg weren't very much in this game. They were very much a presence in this game. And up until that point, you would assume and maybe project that Bayern Munich were going to win the game eventually. But it wasn't comfortable. And it was difficult. And Augsburg, whenever they went on the attack, they were creating some half chances and half opportunities because of the difficulties of Bayern Munich, especially in transition defensively. Whenever they lose the ball in a bad area and now they have to transition in speed, it is not an organized transition. It's not structure. It's let's get behind the ball somehow and maybe we'll be able to address this. I don't like the way that they recover defensively and how they get themselves in a position to defend. And it's all very panicky, and it's a sliding challenge from Kim, or it's a sliding challenge from Eric Dyer, or Konrad Laimer is just kind of running behind people hoping to get there. It's not one guy steps out, the other one backs him up. It's not happening, at least in my estimation, it's not happening automatically. It almost happens by accident. It's like, and it's late with the reaction. And to Frank's point, and it's the point that I wanted to get to, is if that's Augsburg, if that's Bochum, if that's Union Berlin, is that whoever, St. Pauli last weekend, imagine Lautaro Martinez, imagine Marcos Thuram, imagine the talented players that Inter have in the attack taking advantage of those chances. It's not Samuel Essende who started today for Augsburg in the attack. No, it's not Philip Tietz. No. This we're talking about in Lautaro Martinez, one of the best strikers in the world. And so this is where I get concerned about Bayern Munich, because up until the red card, that changed the dynamic of the game, and the fact that they were able to score right away also changed the dynamic of the game. Augsburg were very much in this game, and Bayern Munich were having a really tough time to get a handle defensively and also create enough chances offensively.
Yeah, obviously a tougher test lying ahead for Bayern Munich coming up this week in the Champions League against Inter. But we've got more Bundesliga action before that. Tomorrow, the coverage will continue. ESPN Plus, Ali and I will be with you for Heidenheim against Bayer Leverkusen and Freiburg against Borussia Dortmund, who will face Bayern in the next Bundesliga game after this round. All of these games, as always, available on Plus.